So here are some couples, some parallels that show up in the passages we are going to go through in this series. Most of them are in chapter 1 and chapter 2. There's a quick throw over to chapters 3 and 4. But in this first chapter, both have a prophecy made about them. John in 1:5 through 25, Jesus in 1:26 through 38, both by angels, both sort of in some ways parallel, but the expectation that the angel gives about John is that he will be a prophet. The expectation that the angel gives about Jesus is that he will be the Son of God. So, acknowledging John's importance, but raising the scale when it comes to how he presents Jesus. Again, in 157 to 66, we get the birth of John, which is a glorious thing and celebrated by Elizabeth and has all kinds of good about it. But it doesn't have hosts of angels celebrating or shepherds coming or the whole manger scene doesn't develop. So the side-by-side has a dignified and celebrated birth for John, but a supernatural visitation of Jesus's birth. And then in their manhood, John's growth and his becoming a man is described briefly in 180. Jesus's, and I think I may have substituted wrongly here, there's a transition in his 12-year-old appearance in the temple, but then Jesus's sort of prophetic impact is celebrated as all the way through 4:14, where he appears in the synagogue at Nazareth. So do you see how John gets dignified treatment and Jesus is always a step up? Why is that? Well, it's probably because the crowds that Luke is trying to reach with this message, if he were to just say John was nothing, Jesus was everything, that wouldn't be credible to them because John was not nothing. They knew how impactful he was. And so Luke has to kind of walk a tightrope where he acknowledges the goodness of John the Baptist at the same time as putting him in a relegated role or in a contributing role rather than a central role. This happens again in all the passages you see at the bottom of the page. Notice how many times John is mentioned in the book of Acts, right? So here in the way that Luke subtly kind of weaves together this ascendancy of Jesus or this primacy of Jesus, it never disses John. In fact, in chapter 7, John will be in prison, disillusioned, and he'll send disciples who have come to give him food or something. He'll send them to Jesus to say, "Are you the right one, or should we keep on looking?" And Jesus will answer him with all kinds of dignity. Will say, John is above all prophets. He's above any, and we'll get to the passage in a minute, but he answers with respect by quoting parts of the book of Isaiah that he knows John will like. And he says, and blessed is the one who takes no offense at me, right? He honors John's question at the same time as Jesus asserts his own position.